Hey, it's Lee Henkin here. So today's short video is going to be about a very underutilized method of list building, one that I think is fairly underutilized anyway. So, if you're relatively experienced when it comes to cold email, cold outreach, you'd be already familiar with a lot of the list building methods out there, like scraping or building lists through databases like Apollo, Line Leads, Prospect. What else is there? Uplead, Seamless, there's that many out there. LinkedIn Sales Navigator, all that kind of stuff. But one method I think is fairly underutilized, and that is like scraping trade directories and niche business events. So to give you an example, one client I work with now, they target food and beverage brands, and there's a lot of events basically throughout the world, US, Canada, UK, where you will actually find a lot of food and beverage brands actually exhibiting at these events. So if you go to, I can't think of some of the event names off the top of my head, but if you go to some of these events, like the websites, it'll often have like an exhibitors list, and it will have all the companies listed that are exhibiting basically. And what you can do is you can get a VA or whatever and just basically put all the company names, the website URLs into a spreadsheet, and then you can upload that list of URLs into a database like Apollo to actually build your lead list. And what I've found from my experience, this is more accurate compared to just relying on search filters. The problem with a lot of databases is the search filters can be a bit hit and miss. For some niches, they can be a bit of a pain in the ass, to be honest. And I've really found that utilizing niche business events, maybe niche, business directories, stuff like that, is a really good way to build the lists. And it doesn't matter whatever the industry is like. Some industries will have a lot of events, and then they'll have websites for those events. So it's just going to totally depend. Easiest way to find this out is to just Google it. So if you're as an example, the client that I was referring to earlier, you could just type in Google food industry events in the US, food industry events London, something like that, whatever. And you'll probably find that there's a lot of events basically, and some of those events will have exhibitors. A lot of those events will display the company names and the websites of those companies that are exhibiting. Super easy way to build a really accurate list. And those companies, if you're selling marketing services, you probably know that they might be a bit more predisposed as well to buying marketing services or advertising services that's what you're selling, because the fact that they're spending money to exhibit their business at an event to get in front of their target audience. So it's a really underutilized method of list building in my opinion, one that I highly recommend you can do if it's going to be applicable. Like I said, it won't be applicable probably for every industry. The easiest way to find it out, just Google it. Literally Google it, go on LinkedIn. So many ways to find this shit out. And that's just one example I wanted to give you of that client who's in the targets food and beverage brands. I can think of another client recently too. They were targeting high-end interior designer firms, and we were actually building lists based on some events they gave us that were throughout, I think it was mostly the US, and I think there was one in Milan in Italy. So yeah, it's a really effective way to build lists if you can do it. Another thing you can do too, again, depending on, there's some kind of resources out there or website like Angel List. I've used that before to do this, targeting startups that have received funding. Angel List is a good way as well, because you can get the company names, URLs from Angel List, and then upload them into a tool like Apollo. So yeah, that's pretty much all I want to talk about. Honestly, I just wanted to share that list building tip, because it's not really one I see talked about a lot, to be honest. I have seen it kind of here and there mentioned, in online marketing and lead gen circles, but I would say most of the list building stuff I've ever come across, and even I personally tell people, is to use databases on LinkedIn. But this is definitely one I've found that gives you a bit of a higher quality in terms of accuracy, and also quality companies too. So if you can do it, definitely try it out. Like I said, just as a recap, business directories or niche business events, and then looking at the list of companies that are exhibiting at that event, build a list of them, upload the URLs into Apollo. Super good way to build a list. So yeah, as I said, if you can do it, check it out. It's going to be a really good way to build a list that not everyone else is doing. That's pretty much it. So give the video a like, drop a comment if you've got any questions about this, and of course subscribe if you like the content, show your support. I'll see you on the next video.